From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big Mother's Day afternoon, LALATE, with big updates about your fourth stimulus check today of 2021. It has started the reconciliation process. They have been working on the bill in those subcommittees, but in this recording, we're going to go over how much money is involved in the fourth stimulus package, what the president said Friday, and why it was such incredible great news. Why he was speaking to his Democratic caucus in the House and Senate to get it to the finish line. Then we'll be cutting over to the fifth stimulus and the big money in there. Then I'll be going over why the next 7 days is so important for you, because there's big money coming back to you. But you can't keep your feet up on the chair with a donut in hand, because this is not automatic land. There are certain things you need to do, and if you don't do them in the next 7 days, you won't get this thousands and thousands of potential dollars. I have all the incredible news about all this money that's coming back to you and the timeline you need to watch to get this money. It's a great day with incredible great news, and it's also Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day here on Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you are having a beautiful Mother's Day. And I have one mother of a $1,400 third stimulus and reoccurring fourth stimulus recording for you in this show. I have all the big money under third stimulus that's landing this coming week, all the big money under fourth stimulus with those monthly stimulus checks for recon that has already started. Yeah, you're hearing me right. And all that big money for fifth stimulus coming this fall. Happy Mother's Day. If you're new to this channel, this is LALATE, which has now expanded its scope of coverage to include cryptocurrency, added to the lineup, still with all the existing shows you love, but also adding cryptocurrency to the programming block. There is also overnight shows new to this channel, so you can jump into live streams and chat with your friends overnight on shows that go for hours at a time. Jump in and watch those shows tonight on this channel, so make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video, and if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. The link is on the top of the chat in the pinned comment, so you get access to the PDFs about the money you're going to get on the fourth stimulus. Let's get to the details right now. Fourth stimulus is the two-step, 2-month process. And while viewers had not thought that reconciliation had started, it has started. They've been working on the language of the bills in those subcommittees over recent weeks. They don't come out with a big pageantry of baton twirlers and parade floats to announce they're starting a reconciliation. Moreover, the president didn't want to look like he was doing that, because he wanted to make it look like he's trying to get bipartisan support, of which he's not. And so that's why his comments on last Friday, and his comments, which I'm going to go over in this recording again from last Wednesday, that were buried in the sea of news last week, were absolutely incredible great news for you. Let's cut back to that Wednesday statement. On Wednesday, he said in a very buried press release, it wasn't even a press release, it was a passing comment, that when doing fourth stimulus, he would absolutely positively come down on his corporate tax rate. This is huge, great news, because this was the only real apparent, firm issue of problems for reconciliation. Democratic alignment was the corporate rate he had proposed was a little bit too high. 28%. Compared to the current rate of 21%. Democrats are saying to the president, we think the current current corporate rate is too low, but we think your rate's too high. You need to come down. He hadn't until just a few days ago. Incredible great news. And then the other big news came on Friday when he said the jobs number that came out on Friday was so bad, you need to pass this fourth stimulus and the fifth stimulus right away. This is great news because he is speaking to his Democratic legislators who are working in those subcommittees quietly on the bills right now, and he's saying, get it done right now. Incredible, great news. So let's go over the fourth stimulus, how much it is, when you would get in, and all those details as well. 2 bills, 2 months, 2 steps. And now viewers who were a little bit confused, perhaps by the scope of the coverage, that they had not started the recon, they were worried we were out of the time frame, not the issue. So let's go over the monthly checks and how they compare. And we've been chatting about them today. If you're on the live chat and see me in the live chat, say hi, because we're going to do House versus Senate again. Do you like House versus Senate? Which one do you like? First, let's compare. House provides stimulus checks for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. Senate plan provides stimulus checks to the end of December. And then the House plan provides smaller amounts per check. So after the first month, it would be $1,000 a month, but the senators would provide bigger monthly stimulus checks. Word on the street, it would look like this. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400. And there you go. Incredible, great news. So which one do you like? People who prefer the Senate plan prefer the concept of getting caught up on their bills faster, quicker than the House plan, which could potentially keep them still behind on their bills. And who gets it? Same people who got the third stimulus. $75,000 or less, you get it. Married couple, $150,000 or less, you get it. Just double the check. Household, 4 or less, you get it. And if you're on SSI or SSDI, Social Security or Railroad benefits, you get it. One of the people jumped in the comments on Noontime LALATE that they were worried about the economic rebounding. Well, we don't have to worry about that just yet, because that no longer appears to be the apparent at issue problem. And we don't have to worry about the job restoration problem, because that number on Friday showed that jobs being restored was not the problem. There are jobs out there, people are not taking the jobs, and that number was a bad economic number, a good number for stimulus. So far, our speed issue, which could have been a concern last month, is no longer a concern. So let's go over all the parameters that we need to know about for stimulus right now. When would we get the first check? They represent the vote would be in July. By July 4th, the check would go out in the month of July for the month of July. There would not be waves of checks, because they can't do waves of checks. They would do them in one drop for the month of July, in the month of July. August, for August. Is this income? It's not income. Is it a taxable event? It's not a taxable event. Would it disqualify you for benefits? No, it would not. And there you go. 2 bills, 2 months, 2 steps, and to the finish line we go. These are bills written by those congressional leaders in subcommittees. They had the provisions. When would we actually see the firm stimulus check amount? You would never see it until the final 48 hours before the Senate votes in the vote-a-rama. Or actually, the final 40 hours when they vote during the vote-a-rama, that is when you would see it. Then some viewers have asked procedural questions, which I don't go too much into. When the senators come out with that amount for their check, they vote. Does it go back to the House again? It does, just like third stimulus. Would those House members change the check again? Not likely. These people talk amongst themselves, so they're not blindsided. They are friends of one another, the same party. They have colleagues. The House subcommittees know the Senate subcommittees, so they know what each other is doing. They're never too blindsided. Yeah, they have slight different opinions about subject matters, but not so dramatic that the House members, when they get it, would undo what the senators would do. Not going to happen. So there you go. Fourth stimulus. All right, now let's go over to what you need to know. So important. There's all this money coming to you. There's all this incredible money coming to you starting next week and the weeks thereafter. But guess what? Some of you got to do something. And that thing you got to do is file a tax return. Now, before I go over what this incredible money is for you coming, and before I go over that tax return, I want you to understand, if I get to something in this recording and I say you need to file a tax return, here's what you need to know. If you are a person who does not make enough money, who is not required to file a tax return, that's its own issue. You don't make enough money, you don't have to file a tax return. In the case of the benefits that I'm about to get to, these stimulus items, if you want these stimulus items, you have to file a tax return, or the government will not give you the stimulus items. So you don't have to file a tax return if you don't want the money. If you don't want the money, you don't have to file a tax return. If you don't file a tax return, you will not get the money. It's as simple as I could say it in the nicest way possible. And I'm giving a lot of tough love to viewers this week because I'm sort of heavy-handed on it as well, because the deadline to file the personal tax return is coming up. If you don't want to file a tax return, you don't have to, but you will not get the money. And you cannot file the tax return in April or May, or sit back in July and say, where's the money? Let me file the tax return now. Or think you can call on the phone or do a non-file filing tool. Can't do that. You gotta file the tax return. All right, let's go over this incredible money that's coming to you. All right, first let me go over the people who have to file tax returns and the reasons you have to file tax returns. First, the children's money coming in the month of July of $3,600 or $3,000, you categorically have to get that tax return on file if you're one of three groups of people. Group number one, you never filed a tax return and you got that child. IRS doesn't know the child exists. You won't get paid. The child will not get a penny if you don't file the tax return. So that is $3,600 paid starting the month of July, $300 a month for 1 year, prorated, or that's 17 to 6. Excuse me, five to newborn, and then $3,000 paid $250 a month, 17 to 6. That tax return needs to be filed. So with that, get that tax return on file, indicate that child so you get paid in the month of July. Next group that has to get that tax return on file is an individual who does file tax returns in the past, but has not listed the child. You got to get that tax return on file. Otherwise, that child is not going to get that money. They know you exist because you're filing tax returns, but you're not listing the child. Finally, the third group, an individual who made a lot of money in 2019 and did list a child, but that child is not going to get paid because the parent made too much money in 2019. They're outside the zone of eligibility. Their income was too high. But in 2020, they took a bath. It was a bad year. It was the pandemic. You didn't make enough money. And guess what? You do qualify for the benefits. You got to get that 2020 tax return on file because they will go off with the most recent tax return, which is the 2019, that doesn't allow you to get the money. All right, to that issue, I've had some people repeatedly ask the following question, which is a superb question, which is the following. I don't have to file tax returns, but in the past I have filed a tax return that did list my child, like a 2018 or something. We've gotten all our stimulus checks fine. I've gotten the child's stimulus checks fine. Do I need to file a 2020 tax return? This is where it's sort of risk aversion. Do you want to risk not getting the check because you don't want to file a tax return, which takes 30 minutes to do? Or do you want to just get the tax return on file to make sure everything's safe? Ultimately, if you got every single payment from every stimulus package since day one, fine, and nothing has ever come late or in a sixth wave or a fifth wave, then maybe you feel comfortable with this situation. But if you feel the least bit uncomfortable or just want to be cautious, get that tax return on file. All right, the next group of people who have to get a tax return on file, who is that? People who received 2020 unemployment benefits and took out for federal taxes. You are not getting paid a single penny from the federal government if you do not file that 2020 return. Let me explain that one as well. So the federal government has a new law under the third stimulus. It's the federal government. It's not the states. Remember, you have state taxes and you have federal taxes. The federal taxes are the IRS. The federal law provides that you do not have to pay taxes on your first $10,200 of unemployment you receive in the year 2020. Unemployment includes FPUC, UI, and PUA. So if week after week or at any time in 2020 you received unemployment benefits from your state and you elected to take out for federal taxes, I'm not talking about state, only federal, then you absolutely categorically have to file that tax return with the federal government, requesting back from the federal government the taxes you took out for your unemployment. They will not send it to you because you have not requested it. Now, let's clarify the situation. This is the federal taxes. The law concerns only the federal government. The law does not concern state taxes, and it does not concern the state government. State government owes you no money. It owes you no money, and it's not returning money. It's the federal government that owes money that has to return back to you. And the only way you're going to get it is by filing a tax return if you have not filed one already. All right, now, let's say you have filed a 2020 tax return. You did pay taxes on that first unemployment group of money. And what's going to happen? You're in a good, easy peasy position. You can hold the donut and put your feet up because guess what? You are getting an automatic check back to you. First wave, single filers. Second wave, married couple. Married couple coming later this month. First wave is coming this coming week. How much you're going to get? The taxes you paid on that unemployment. Example, you had $9,000 of unemployment assistance in 2020. You filed a 2020 tax return. Your total tax bill was $5,000, of which $4,000 was taxes on unemployment. You're getting a $4,000 tax refund back to you from the federal government. How? When? It would come this coming week, approximately. Now, understand, if it's late, don't think it's worried or anything like that. It's the federal government. Second, how would you receive it back? If the tax return has nothing about direct deposit account information, it's coming back to the mail address on the tax return. Easy breezy. Now, throughout this recording, I've shown you what happened, what about. So also, if you have missed a first stimulus check, a second stimulus check, a third stimulus check, or someone in your household, meaning someone that appears on your tax return, is missing a check. Let's say your child missed a check or someone else missed a check. You got to fix that with the 2020 return as well. All these things line up as a series of things you need to fix. And the time and place to fix it is literally clicking down to the final minutes now, as that personal 2020 return is due just a few days from now. Meantime, incredible great news, as states are ordered to return money back to you. That incredible news I'm going to go over right now. This is slightly different. This is where you can put your feet up and hold that donut and you don't have to do anything. So what is this? During the scope of receiving unemployment benefits during the pandemic, some states sent you sometimes an extra sum of money, which they made a mistake. Not your fault. They made the mistake. And they requested you to return it to them, and you did. Well, guess what? The Department of Labor last Thursday said that was a mistake and that you should never have had to be returning that money back to the states. The states owe you that money back. So now the Department of Labor, the federal government, has ordered states to return back to you that unemployment assistance. Those surplus amounts that are in thousands of dollars for the case of some viewers that were computer glitches, no fault of your own. Meantime, what's going on with FPUC? Is FPUC going to end early? What happened with those two states last week? And what's going on with fifth stimulus? I have all the incredible big news, great news coming up in the second half of this recording. But first, here's a little bit about the community page. Because guess what? Yes, money for rent, food, and utilities is coming live this coming week. I don't want you to miss it. Stay with me. I'll be back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Afternoons LALATE. I'm so excited you joined me on a beautiful Mother's Day across the board. Hope you and your mother are having a wonderful day and all your family. And you found the daddy of stimulus. Who's your daddy of stimulus? Here I am. And soon your daddy of Doge as well. Join me for expanded coverage on this channel, now expanding into cryptocurrency. Yes, we're expanding into cryptocurrency, adding new shows to this programming lineup. And yes, there are now overnight shows that go on for hours where you can jump into the live chat, interact with your friends. I may not be on camera, but you'll see at least a chart of something major that happened that day, whether it's a Disney stock chart or it's a Dogecoin stock. And you can jump into those live chat, interact, enjoy some beautiful music, and just relax. Sit up, have a sip of wine, and just interact with the Purple Power family. So if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe as you see this channel expand and bring in more family and a lot of love. Also like this video, and if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. All right, let's go to the incredible other items that's hitting across the board, and that is fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus is the incredible relief that Americans need because there's so many items in the fifth stimulus package that are incredible across the board. While the President of the United States calls it the American Family Plan, it's not just about families. It's actually also about individuals, and it's also about seniors. The SSI and SSDI reform is detailed extensively in a series of letters from legislators who detail what they're going to put into the fifth stimulus package. Those add-ons are the following. Let's go over them broadly, and then we'll cut back and do it specifically. First, they're going to increase your benefit limits. Then they're going to add in new asset limits. They're going to add an inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and then add the marriage penalty. This is among the items that Democrats will add to the fifth stimulus, while the president has other items he wants to put in there as well. 2 bills, 2 months, 2 steps, and away we go. This would start in September and be done around October-ish, impacting your benefits starting the month of November. Easy breezy. So what is it? And first, who is it? Let's go over that. It's you. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, survivor benefits as well is what they represent. Then they're going to raise you all up to a new big number is what they represent. They represent that then with that new number, that would be your new number going forward. Then they're going to tie you to inflation. Inflation will be your new benchmark, and inflation is expected to go up 2 to 4% every year over the next few years, so says the head of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell. So says Janet Yellen, and I say as well. But if inflation goes up higher, no worries, because you'll be tied to inflation, and your benefits will go up a lot as well. Then they're going to remove a asset cap that dates back to a 1960s law that says some of you can't keep more than $3,000 on hand. Gone. They're going to remove an income cap that dates back to a 1980s law that says you cannot work and also receive benefits. Gone. Now you'll be able to go out and work if you want to and bring home some bacon, whether it's $1,000, $2,000 a month. There you go. Incredible, great news. And then finally, they would remove the marriage penalty. Gone. Meaning that if you're suffering from the marriage penalty, it would be gone. And also meaning that if you want to get married, you would no longer suffer the marriage penalty. All this relief would go forward. This is not retroactive. To which some viewers have asked what have happened to the SSI $200. Absolutely everything of the SSI $200 is now, in essence, in a way, being given to you. There were 3 parts to it. Stimulus, then increase your benefits, and then adding a new benchmark. Here you just saw in fifth stimulus, they are increasing your benefits and adding a new benchmark. And then the $200 a month, which would have only given you about $2,400 a year, they are covering that by including you in the stimulus checks. Remember those stimulus checks, the 4 stimulus package checks. Everyone gets these. Yes, if you're on SSI or SSDI, you get it. The amount of that stimulus would be the same for adult dependents, minor dependents. Everyone would get the same amount of stimulus checks starting the month of July. In fact, you'll get a lot more money than even Elizabeth Warren had proposed for you as well. This money would be the single biggest payout you've seen in the history of this channel. Incredible, great news. Now, what did the president say about this stimulus after talking about fourth stimulus on Friday? He said the same thing. Get it done. He said, get it done, and this is reasons to get it done. What's important to understand is I'm not going to go over his analysis of why he wanted to get it done, just that he said that Friday's number suggested we need to get it done. And what's incredible great news about it is now we have had 2 pushes from the president. First, we had that push to say he's going to modify the corporate tax rate to get it done. And now he's saying, get it done. Start working on it. Get it finished. Now, what's happening this coming week? On Monday, we see a series of corporate earnings reports coming in, which will signal how strong this economy is rebounding or not. Not particularly exactly on point with what's happening with your stimulus, but related because it'll show what's going on with hiring and firing and job retention. So Tyson, Marriott, and Simon Properties report Marriott will be important for fourth stimulus because it'll show whether travel is back for just leisure travel, also business. The Vizio reports corporate earnings on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, I'll have for you corporate earnings from Wendy's, and Bumble. And then Thursday, corporate earnings coming from Disney, DoorDash, and Alibaba. The Disney numbers may be the more significant for purpose of fourth stimulus because Disney is a play that concerns reopening. A lot of their corporate earnings derive from people staying at home and watching streaming services of Disney Plus. So how are Disney Plus numbers now that America's reopening? Are the numbers the same? Are they pulling back? Do we see the same result? A lot of interesting details across the board. So what about my business people? Yeah, you have not been particularly taken well care of by this president. Friday's numbers did reflect that employers laid people off because they lost their businesses last month. And so that was not a surprise to viewers of this channel. The month before, the number of business closures, small and medium sized in the country, were 30%. And yet, this president has not delivered on his relief for small businesses as so promised, and even as represented in the bill, in the actual law. The third stimulus package provided a $5,000 EIDL grant. It has never happened. The second stimulus was provided a $10,000 EIDL grant. First stimulus provided a $10,000 EIDL grant. Most viewers of this channel have not gotten it. Most viewers have gotten rejections from SBA. And the third stimulus has provided the shuttered venue grant and the restaurant grant, which is only one part of the U.S. economy. No other relief for other people. Finally, the president had promised to provide you relief to go start a new business. Nothing for that as well. So obviously you see a lot of things twisting and turning. Meantime, two other major breaking and developing news stories in the last few hours. One, really surprising, shocking the horse race industry, as the Kentucky Derby winner could be invalidated due to a testing of the horse, and Bob Baffert could be blocked from participating in the Derby. Still pending. This is a shocking story. Second, on a surprising story from Elon Musk, because the next rocket he's shooting to the moon will be called Dogecoin 1 to the moon. And to get a spot on the moon, on the rocket to pay for it, you have to pay with Dogecoin. So it's also circulating around again. Meantime, what should you anticipate for next week? What you anticipate for next week is the CPI numbers coming out. The Consumer Price Index number, which I detailed last month on this channel, was strong. It's expected to be strong this coming week as well. The PPI number, the Producer Price Index number, will also be released concurrently around the same, within a day or two as well. But the president's going to continue to get sort of, how would you say, pushes from different sides about unemployment because of Friday's number. What you need to know as a viewer of this channel who may be on unemployment is the following. If you live in a red state where the governor is a Republican, there is a high likelihood that your FPUC benefits may stop sooner than you anticipated in the month of September. We have now 2 red states that have said we're stopping FPUC months earlier. We're not waiting to September. And so if you live in one of those 2 states or you live in another red state, don't be surprised if FPUC is stopped earlier than September. The eviction moratorium, whatever happened to that? Invalidated in the middle of the week, then put on stay pending appeal. We'll see the developing details of what happens with that eviction moratorium when it goes to a ruling in the next few days. Yes, it's next week. So many details across the board. And so with that, make sure you always push, because Purple Power, you want to push. I appreciate all your scope and your growth and the credible love across the board. It's Mother's Day, and so hopefully if you are out and about celebrating Mother's Day and miss this recording live, watch it taped, because there are all these shows taped across the channel. Meantime, I'm back with you in 2 hours from now with Evenings LA. That will be a big recording. And then throughout the day, you're also going to see new shows on the lineup covering cryptocurrency. So don't miss those shows, because those have big breaking news about new interest rates being offered that are very, very important for purpose of cryptocurrency. With that, if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I want you part of this family. 400,000 subscribers. Here we go. Let's do it. We're just on the cusp. Let's hit it. Also, like this video. Consider liking this video because it really helps in the algorithm ranking, helping this video rank higher than other videos that tell you false information, like it gained $10,200 next week, or that stimulus checks have just gone out, or just passed. None of these statements are true, and yet YouTubers continue to put those in the title of their videos and draw in views based upon those false information. So help this video rank before those videos with false information. Also, consider becoming a member. As a member, you get access to the PDFs of the bill provisions every day. And those PDFs are important to understand because there's a lot of items of the fifth stimulus. And in a 30-minute video, I cannot always go over all the items of the fifth stimulus, so you see them there as well. Stay informed, stay focused, keep on smiling, and stay with LALATE for more. I'll see you in 2 hours.